All right, we're rolling. Episode number 2. I actually am doing more than one episode. You know, I feel like a lot of people say, I'm going to start this series, I'm going to start this podcast. They do one, and then they don't do anymore. Well, I'm trying to stay consistent. It's actually a lot of fun and quite therapeutic, cathartic, all those things, to do these sort of working class guitar episodes. This is number 2. Last week we talked about a lot of fun stuff that happened in 2020 and a lot of not so fun stuff that happened. Now that's behind me and behind us, and we're moving on to new fun projects. So I got a list of them here. And you guys asked some questions, and you can hear that this darn banjo is resonating as I speak. Why do they do that? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So Monday was really cool because I talked about recording an acoustic version of a song for an artist, and I started that. And there's some fun little video I shot while I was doing that after I did all my parts. I did everything from playing this thing. This is a Ganjo. Yes, it's a 6-string banjo. You purists can crucify me because it's not played like a normal 5-string banjo. It's tuned like a guitar. But at some point in music, particularly in country and in Nashville, like these were so popular. Keith Urban played this exact model, the Deering B6. It's a great instrument that a friend of mine equipped with a pickup. Charlie McVeigh, builder of the McVeigh B-Bender. He's a machinist, and he machined a special clamp in there for a pickup. And I actually used to play that in a band back in Ohio. And I thought I was going to be this guy that played banjo and mandolin and dobro. And I was like, I'm a guitar player. I'm going to go back to playing guitar. But I still hung on to this, and it makes it on sessions from time to time. So I put together a couple clips of how I recorded the tracks from here, and I think you'll enjoy that. So let's watch that. All right, so it's Monday, my first day, sweatpants, recording guitars. It's a nice thing about getting to do this job from home is I can just kind of get comfy, pull out all my guitars, whether they're down here behind me. Used banjo on this particular track, used a nylon string, it's over there somewhere. So basically I had to retrack an acoustic version of a song that I already played electrics on. So the producer kind of gave me free rein. And what I like to do is give a bunch of tracks to the producer, and then they can use what they want or pull it in and out. So I like to start, first of all, this song is really easy. I'm not going to play the original tracks just for copyright reasons, and before they don't want me to spill the beans before we put it out, right? But it's an easy song. It's just the chords are just C add 9, D, E minor, E minor 7, back to D. It's the whole song. So it's pretty cool to just try to be creative around simple chord changes like that. So the first thing I might do is create a music bed over the choruses. Tim Pierce says that he likes to record choruses first. It lays down a nice sort of meaty foundation of the tune. So in this instance, I would just play, one track was straight eighth notes. Then the other track has some light accents to it. There it is. And together they sound like that. When you pan them, they kind of sound like a nice big guitar. Creates a nice bed. So then there's some other little melody lines that are in here, which is cool. But there's a banjo part I put in here that's kind of fun. It's actually a 6-string banjo called a Ganjo, affectionately, or unaffectionately. And I have the banjo tuned or capoed way up high, and I'm creating this little part here. See, I got stuff everywhere. It just kind of goes. But it's a 6-string banjo. I could play it like a guitar. There was a time, if you moved to Nashville, you had to own one of these, just like Keith Urban. I put some other acoustic melody parts in here, which are kind of fun. The banjo's still there. This little thirds, double stoppy type of stuff. So there's a lot going on. I'm going to put the other acoustics back in. There's a little muted solo. There's a muted rhythm part I did, which I think is kind of cool. Let's hear that. Create almost like a little groove section. That's just me going. It's just a neat thing. I have to think like a pop instrumentalist, but with acoustic instruments. So it's pretty fun to kind of do that and translate it to different guitars. So I don't know how much of the nylon string this producer will use, but I thought I'd add it to add some nice texture because against the steel string, it's a little softer. Little nice sound, a nicer sound against the steel string being a little more aggressive. Plus, when I played the solo, I did something like that, and you have to be careful not to take it too much into Santana land because they won't like that. They won't want it to be a Latin pop tune. There's the solo. What I did there is I doubled that with an acoustic part. So let's just hear those two together. And again, they may or may not use one or the other. It's up to them. So here is the acoustic solo and the nylon together. At least I think that's what I'm going to show you. Here we go. Pretty cool. And you have to be a crafty engineer because sometimes I'll play and you'll hear my lips smack or my breath. So you got to be careful of all that stuff too. Sometimes I can get that out for them. Otherwise, they just do it. You know, they edit the track in that little computer box they have. So that's about it. You know, all those tracks together. Let's hear them all. Let's go right from the solo. I might have to fix that one where I hear a lip smack, but I'll get to it. I thought that would be fun to show you guys that, you know, I started this probably at 12:30. It's 5:15 p.m. right now in my time. So it took me a while. Took a lunch break in between there. I try to do a couple tracks and push myself to the limit of like where I'm gonna get frustrated with myself and make mistakes, and I just pause. I'll be like, all right, get some food, get something to drink, hang out, you know, and then go back at it with a fresh head. That always seems to help. But today's been a fun day so far, and thought I'd document a little bit since we're doing this little vlog weekly update thing. There you go. All right, hope you dug that. That was actually a lot of fun just to dedicate my entire Monday to. I enjoyed that a lot, and hopefully they dig it. I haven't heard back yet, so that could be a good sign or a bad sign. We'll see. I think the parts are really, really good though. So moving on, Tuesday was like an admin day for me. That means I take care of a lot of emails. I do paperwork for that track because that is done for a record label and the union is involved. So make sure I get paid properly and I get proper credit and proper payment when that song gets replayed over and over again. I am a Nashville local AFM member here, and I really support what they do because they go to bat and try to get musicians money that is on the table out there from streaming and things like that. So it's important that I stay connected with them because that stuff does happen for me, and I have some watchdogs I can go get it. Sadly, it's a dying industry all the way around, and hopefully that people who are involved in the union can stay employed and stay working and doing those things for as long as they can. Okay, so Wednesday comes around, go to Brett Papa's house. He and I are working on Complete Blues Volume 2. Shot everything, in the editing phase right now, hoping for a March release. It's gonna be awesome. It's honestly, I say this, my favorite course to date. A lot of really in-depth stuff you haven't seen me teach in any course, guaranteed. Now there's some spillover of techniques and stuff like that, but completely new songs and ideas that are gonna blow your mind. At least they blew Brett's, we'll say that. Yeah, he was impressed. Also got a very cool pedal in the mail from a company called Cornerstone Audio, the Gladio. Let's see if we can get the focus. There he is. Boom. This pedal is really, really great. And apparently they're pretty sought after. I'm also going to be doing an Instagram live with them next week. Be Thursday, the 19th of February. This is your Dumbly, Stevie Ray type stuff, but also does Sonny Landreth, Eric Johnson type tones, and I'm just getting started with it. I really, really like it. The cool thing about this pedal board I have is I can wire this pedal into an effects loop, not like the traditional effects loop, but it basically come out of the board, go into this, back into the board, and I can use what I call a pedal of the day at that point, okay? So I gotta get this banjo out of here, it's killing me. All right, and I said I wanted to take some questions, so I'm not just gonna throw that out there and not take questions. Let me find my phone. I got them right here. It's some really great stuff from John's Tropical Reflections. That's his YouTube account. How did you get the gig with Premier Guitar? What lessons or advice can you impart to folks who are unable to produce something creative due to life when the tape begins to roll? That's a tough one to answer, but the gig with Premier Guitar, I've known those guys for a long time. When I used to do product demos for Fishman, they would come by at the NAMM show and interview me, talk about the new products, and I've just stayed in touch with them. You know, a lot of these relationships I have with these companies and people like that go back years and years and years. Just being a nice guy, not being a jerk and thinking that I deserve something, you know, or whatever. Just not having a shitty attitude. Just really just becoming friendly with people and nurturing those relationships is what helps, you know. And having the gear to be able to produce a decent looking and sounding video, that doesn't hurt either. How would I describe my learning curve in shooting YouTube videos in 2020? I'd say for the past year, I've gotten better at understanding some lighting, camera. You can do it with inexpensive cameras, but invest in a lens that's nice. And it doesn't have to be that expensive. I've used Sony cameras and Sigma lenses, and they're pretty, you know, consumer-based stuff. You know, yeah, you're gonna be getting the thousands of dollars, but you know, you could do it with your phone. Nobody's stopping you from doing it with your phone. These phones look great. So yeah, it's been about a year or so that I've been tweaking it for sure. What advice can you give folks who are looking to dip toes into this pool? He says, all right, amigo, hang tough and keep the faith in 2020. I appreciate that. John's Tropical Reflections. Yeah, the worst thing you could do is not get started. Roll a camera, get in front of it, try. You're gonna suck the first 6, 10 videos. You're gonna like, I hate myself. Look at the camera. This is you. Don't do a lot of this. Don't do a lot. Well, you know, no. Engage. There's a person on the other side of the camera that wants to hear what you have to say, so talk to them, okay? There is another question as well, and I hopefully I can find it quickly. Oh, here he is. Great to know you have content on Udemy. Yes, I talked about my Udemy courses. He takes classes there. He's wondering how other musicians who don't have online presence made it, or if they've made it. Maybe you could talk about that and what's happened with veteran musicians and session players in Nashville. Great question. I talked to a lot of those types of folks, and it's all over the map. I know people who have pivoted into other businesses, people who have moved away, people who thankfully have had some money saved that they can live on, some who can do the unemployment thing, a lot of the home tracking thing, but the home session work thing doesn't pay the best because it's so competitive. I charge a certain rate that I think is equivalent to my time. So if I'm spending a whole day on a track, like on Monday, then it's worth it for me. And, you know, getting paid for what you're worth makes you invest in the project even more so. So I try to like set my rate so that I'm comfortable and excited about it. So yeah, so a lot of my fellow musicians weren't lucky enough to have something already in place like online guitar courses and stuff like that to sort of lean on and actually sort of push even more. So I've been doing this for well over 10 years. So I had some courses out and some stuff that was, already helping me pay the bills, which was really, really cool. I've given work to other people. I sub a gig out to some people, send session work to other people, hire my friends to play on some tracks when I can. So I'm trying to always reach out to them as well and just try to stay positive because something's going to happen here, hopefully by next year at least, where they can kind of get back to doing what they're doing, as well as me too, because I certainly miss playing and doing more studio stuff and showcases and all those things too. So So that's it. So trying to stay positive for them and myself as well. But it's been a fun week. Lots and lots of different stuff. Session, recording guitar tracks, working on YouTube videos, taking meetings and calls. Lots of other fun stuff happening in the next few weeks. Going to try to drop a live stream in at some point too. If not this month, next month for sure. Talk about, just do a catch up. Play some gear, answer some questions, have some fun. All right, so this has been episode number 2, Working Class Guitar. Drop your questions, comments below. Love to answer more and to kind of get down to the nitty gritty of what it is that I do. And, feel free. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Do the best I can. All right, so thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. I'm Corey. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell. You know the drill. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.